Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. I intended to get to this earlier than midnight. It's about 4 minutes to midnight. But whatever. You know, got busy. I put out the video earlier today, yesterday. By the time you see this, uh, and then I wanted to lay down and take a nap, so I did. And then I had to do my laundry. By the time that got done, I had to make supper. And by the time that got done, because I was a little bit, because what I do, I'll take a nap, then I'll hit the shower, laundry, and then I'm free to do whatever. But sometimes my ass needs to be motivated to get in the shower. So it's I take a nap. I woke up at 2. I woke up at 2 from my nap, and then I took forever to take a shower. It was about 3:30 by the time I jumped in the shower. I got to watch YouTube videos and shit. And then I do my laundry. So I'm waiting for my laundry to get done. Half hour for the wash, hour for the dry. So let's say by 4 o'clock my ass finally gets in the shower. By then it's 5:30. By the time I get to doing all that stuff. But even then it takes my ass so long because I'm not ready to eat yet. I start cooking at 6. I don't get done till almost 7 o'clock. What's that? I get distracted. Actually, it was longer than 7 o'clock. It took my ass a long time to get. What was I? I was watching something at 7, actually. Well, Hack the Movies had a stream at 10, or at 8, excuse me. So I wanted to catch that. He's talking about the Tron movies. So then it became, okay, let me watch that and then I'll do this. By the time I got to this, it was about 9 o'clock. So that's where we are in this timeline. I didn't get to it till 9 o'clock. That's where it was. So Bring Her Back is a film by the Philippou brothers who brought us Talk to Me. It is their second film, and what I initially assumed was a sequel to this. Why did I assume that? Well, because every time I heard it, people describe this, they described it as their follow-up film. It is their follow-up to Talk to Me. And when I hear the term follow-up, I think sequel for some reason. Sorry, that's what I hear. And I, much like with the last one, I made sure I knew nothing about it. So I knew nothing about this movie going in other than that kid's face. So my thought was, okay, this is a sequel to Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. The remaining characters are gonna try to find a way to bring her back from there. Because if you remember, once the second one came out, they said, okay, we're gonna work on a sequel called Talk to Me. And I thought it turned into this movie. This has nothing to do with Talk to Me at all. And so I'm starting to watch this, and I'm like, okay, what does this kid and his blind stepsister have to do with Talk to Me? Are they going to go after her? And as things start going, I realize it's got nothing to do with Talk to Me at all. This is just another film directed by them. Then don't call it a follow-up. I don't know. When I hear the term follow-up, I think of it as a sequel or a continuation in some way, shape, or form, and it's not. It's just another film directed by these guys who are very good directors. But the same problems I had with Talk to Me, I have with this. I don't like the ending. Albeit, this is a more kind of better ending than Talk to Me, and that it exceeded my expectations because I saw it, I'm like, oh no, they're going to do this. And they didn't. They went in a different direction. But there's a certain point when something happened and I went, oh no. They're going to do it again. They're going to... And while they didn't go in that direction, I still didn't like the direction they went in. Because I felt like this was presenting one thing, and then because they went in another direction with it, it kind of abandoned what this was about. once I get into a film, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. So the story is about step siblings, Andy and Piper. Should know that for Henry Danger. Andy and Piper, who are put in the foster care system after their dad dies in the shower. And I started freaking. I guess I watched too many horror movies. My brain is keyed into horror movies because, like, when they go to this Wendy lady, they go to Wendy. She's the foster care person. She's like, "Oh, I have this person, Laura, and she's gonna take Piper, and you're gonna go, and you're gonna go to this other place. She only wants Piper." And I went, "Why does she only want her? I wonder. She's up to something." Sure enough, that's what it is. And if you pay attention enough, because I'm watching this, and I'm like, because I thought about this as it went along. As things go along, you see she's manipulating them, but she's manipulating them from the very beginning, if you really think about it. Because she doesn't want Andy there, and she does everything she can to get rid of him, because there's something else going on. But the siblings say, "No, we're not separating, we're not going anywhere, we're staying together." So they both end up going there. And because she said, "Well, I have to ask Laura to make sure it's okay." Laura could have just said, "No, I only have room for one kid." And, but then again, if she's saying, "Well, they say that they won't separate, they refuse," then she kind of has to take him. Like, when they get there, they realize she also has another kid. This, Oliver. I hope that's right. Oliver, who's mute and doesn't speak. That's what mute means, stupid. Mute. He's mute. I want to make sure I got the right name because I don't want to. Okay. Mess things up. Oliver. Not cousin Oliver. I didn't read the Brady Bunch. Which. What? Okay. Oliver. Okay. And so they start live with this woman. Her name is Laura, like I said. She's played by Sally Hawkins. You may know from Gojira and other things, but I know her from the Godzilla. She was in 2 of the Godzilla movies, right? Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think she was in. But the legendary Godzilla movies, not the Toho ones. But anyway, and so when she starts talking about what happened to her daughter, I went, she wants to use Piper as a vessel for her, bring her daughter's spirit back or something. Ultimately, it's more complicated than that. The hell? You heard that, right? Did my fridge just pee? That's what it sounded like. I don't see any puddles. My fridge just pee. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like my fridge took a piss. Anyway. So she's talking about she had a daughter, and at first she's like, my daughter Kathy, she drowned. I'm like, you didn't say it was an accident. You didn't say how she drowned. I thought, oh, she's abusive and something. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on until she mentioned about, oh, she's gone, and I could hear her say "mom" one more time, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna use this girl to get her daughter back. And I'm like, okay, it's very obvious what she's trying to do. She gives them alcohol because they're like, oh, what do you usually do? And he's like, get smashed. And so, like, she's giving him alcohol. They already said he's not 18 yet. He's gonna be 18 in a few months, but he's only 17, and she's like 12. So why is she giving him alcohol? I I don't know. She's giving them both alcohol, and yeah, I don't. I guess I don't. I well, I guess I can't defend. I don't know the age limit of drinking in uh, Australia, but I'm sure it wasn't 12. There's also like they go to the dad's funeral and she's snipping off his hair, right? And then Oliver begins to, God damn Asian badass popping up. I was watching this in the dark, and twice during the movie, on this screen, because I'm also playing video games, the freaking ladybugs, Asian beetles, popped up, crawling on her because they go towards the light. Because I have my windows open, but like going through the cracks and stuff, it's annoying. Around this time in the fall, they do that. Just go away. Anyway, so Andy starts to realize that this kid Oliver is very weird. He doesn't talk, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you write down?" And he's trying to teach him how to write so that they can communicate, you know. And then he starts eating a kitchen knife for some reason, and so he's like, "I have to take you to the hospital. I'll take you to the hospital," and he's dragging him. He doesn't want to go. He's dragging him, and I see this white circle. I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. Like, it's going to be a thing. And of course, as soon as he crosses, he freaks out. Laura comes back with Piper and is like, no, what did you do? What did you do? And I'm just like, okay, there's something. Because then she takes him back into this back room, and she's watching this ritual, and it makes him go back to being quiet. But, you know, he does get a word out. Help me. A couple words. But then when Andy goes back to the paper, he sees that he wrote bird. And he becomes very suspicious. I will say one good thing about this. Pretty good pacing. It's a slow burn, but it's done enough. By the time we get to the climax, I'm like, oh, we're almost done already? Right? And by the way, I want to point out that the actress playing the blind girl is really blind. And I always gotta wonder, like, I understand they want realism, but how does that work for someone who is impaired like that doesn't know what's going on? They're blind. So it's like, right? You're already thinking, oh, it's bad enough for the character. But when stuff's really going on and she really can't see what's going on, it's a little more difficult. It's more interesting, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. Well, Andy starts doing a little. Well, he ends up finding a paper because, first of all, what happens is, he ends up having an accident in the shower and ends up concussed and in the hospital, which kind of takes him out of the situation. But then he comes back, and then Laura goes in to. This was a weird scene, and Laura goes into Piper's room and just punches her right in the eye, and she just starts crying, and then she just sort of stands back, and it's just like she lets her cry, like, why doesn't Andy hear that? Did she drug him or something? I don't know. But then the next day she's all like, you hit her, you did it last night. He's like, no, I didn't. And even Piper's like, he wouldn't hit me. He's not like that. Oh yeah? He wouldn't abuse you like your father abused him? What? Because I guess he confided to her. What, Dad did that? Yeah, I didn't want her to know. And there's all that stuff. So like, she's using that against him, and so then he storms off and he finds a missing persons paper that reveals that Oliver is actually a missing boy named, I saw it and now it's gone. Bird. Something Bird. Connor Bird, which was the hint that he was trying to give him. Connor Bird. So he takes it to Wendy and shows her. He's like, where did she come from? Why did you get it? So she used to work here for a long time. And now she gonna live when her daughter died. You know what? Yeah, I know about her daughter. I know about it. Something is going on. She's doing something bad. She's gonna hurt Piper. So at this point, she takes Piper to get her out of the way. She takes Piper to some kind of game. What was it called? I read it. What was it called? I don't know what it is. What's it called? Goal ball. I have no idea what that is. Goal ball is a team sport designed specifically for athletes with a vision impairment. Participants compete in teams of 3. Try to throw a ball with bells embedded inside it to the opponent's goal. The ball is thrown by hand but never kicked, using ear-hand coordination. That's not a thing. Originating as a rehabilitation exercise, the sport has no able-bodied equivalent. Sighted athletes are also blindfolded when playing this sport. Okay, but she's blindfolded and she's blind. That's what I didn't get, is that they're all blindfolded, but she's blind, right? Isn't it? Sight impaired. Okay. I don't know what sight impaired means. Blind. You can't call him blind anymore. She's blind. But she's playing this goal ball. And which is a distraction while, I don't know, Laura prepares the final part of the thing, I guess. So Wendy finally decides, we're going to go check this out. She wants to call Laura, but Andy's like, no, don't do that. But then Andy, like a fucking dumbass, calls his sister, forgot her name, Piper, and of course Laura gets a hold of the phone, and she overhears the message, and overhears Wendy on the other side, so she starts to clean up the place. She has been going nuts with Oliver, or I forgot his name again, whatever, Bird. And so she's like trying to clean up the place because she heard Wendy was coming, and now she's still kind of blaming Andy and make sure everything's going. Andy stays behind for no reason other than to sneak out and go find Oliver, who's... Okay, so this is where it gets confusing. Because he's trying to eat the daughter's corpse. Right? Is what the thing is. Let me try to explain. I gotta look at this thing to figure it out. What the rules are of this thing. So there's a demon inside this boy's body. So demon through resurrection from VHS tape. The corpse of the deceased is fed to a possessed host, who then regurgitates the corpse and its lingering soul into the body of a person recently killed in the same manner as the one to be resurrected. So she intends to drown Piper in the pool during the rainstorm, which Andy has a dream that the dad tells him that Piper's going to die in the rain. And so he tells Laura this. She's like, don't worry, I won't take her outside. And immediately takes her outside in the rain. So, yeah. To replicate Kathy's death and use Oliver as a vessel to complete the ritual. Does that sound right to you? That's contradictory from what the top part just said, right? Because it says here, the corpse of the deceased is fed to the possessed host. So they feed the corpse, Kathy's corpse, to Oliver. And then regurgitates the corpse and its lingering body into a person recently killed in the same manner as the one resurrected, which would be Piper when they drowned it. So Oliver wouldn't be the vessel, Piper would, right? He would be the possessed host, but not the vessel. Vessel means person who's going to be possessed by something. Yeah, he's possessed, but he's not the one that's going to be possessed with Kathy's body, Kathy's soul. Also, just throwing it out there, she's putting Kathy into Piper's body, then Kathy will be blind. Sorry, little pest reference there. Well, now be blind or sight impaired. Why can't you just call him blind? So I don't know. I don't know if I was to do this, which I wouldn't choose someone who is sight impaired or blind. I don't know. I really don't know. So eventually, what happened? It gets a little muddled towards the end. So Winnie starts to get a little suspicious when she sees Laura's injured arm. That Oliver did that. Tari, whatever the name is. Then Andy starts to call for Wendy when he finds what Oliver is doing. Then Laura decides she's just gonna tell her what she's doing. Yep, just starts confessing to her. Wendy runs out and follows Andy into the shed where they see that Connor's starting to eat Kathy's body, starting the whole thing. Which Piper's not even fucking there yet, but he's starting without her, I guess. And then this is where the movie lost me. They try to leave, and fucking Laura hits them with her car, which kills Wendy. So there's your witness. And Andy is injured. And if you think he could get out of this, nope, she drowns him. And I went, this is where I'm like, oh, she's gonna fucking do it, isn't she? She's gonna succeed. What is with the downer endings with these directors, right? The first one, like that one. I'm like, so Laura then goes to the gold ball place and brings Piper back to finish the thing, because Connor, Oliver, whatever, has eaten some Andy's flesh. He can manipulate Andy's voice, which, because Piper can't see him, he believes it. But she figures something else is up. She locks herself in the bathroom and finds Andy's body. Then Laura decides, again, I'm just going to tell this person what's going on. Of course, Piper's not into it. No, she doesn't want that to happen. But she runs into a wall, and I'm sorry. If she's... This is where I started to be like, really? They're going to make her stupid now, just so this thing succeeds, right? Because if she's able to play a fucking sport, she's aware enough of her surrounding to play a fucking sport. She should not run into a wall. But she's able to escape because she says mom, and it distracts her enough so she can leave. She is able to escape now, stumbles onto the road where a car picks her up, and Connor leaves the boundary, which makes the demon leave his body. I don't know why he just leaves. Maybe he gains consciousness enough to do it. I don't know. The police show up because I guess Wendy called the police. And then Laura is like goes into the pool with Kathy's corpse, which I thought Connor ate, but I guess not. And then the police just surround her and the movie ends. Why I have a problem with this ending, because it didn't go the way I thought it was, which was the ritual succeeds, now she has her daughter back. No. Why I don't like this ending is they spend this entire movie saying these two siblings will not separate. He always has her back. He's going to defend as new as he can to rescue her. And they kill him off for no fucking reason. I'm sorry. Hit Wendy with the car all you want. He should not have died. He should not have died. He should have been the one to save Piper. He shouldn't have died. I'm sorry. No, that does not fit with the rest of this film, where we have to go together. We have to stick together. We're all we have. And then you kill him off and she's left alone? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes me think if they wanted her to succeed, but if they wanted her to succeed, but someone said, no, you can't have another downer ending because the last one was kind of downer ending. We need one where she survives. But then they couldn't get the actor who played Andy to come back, so they didn't reshoot his scenes, but reshot another ending with, maybe that's not what happened. I don't know. Let me look it up. Look at production history. I keep turning this thing on. Probably not, but we'll look. Production. All right. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything about it. I don't know. It just doesn't... The ending doesn't fit with the story they were telling throughout the film of these two siblings trying to stick together and him trying to rescue her. The fact that he just gets hit with a car and then he gets drowned, which I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And are we also supposed to believe that she somehow caused the dad to die? Because when I first saw this, I thought he unalived himself. Yeah, that was going to be. By the way, I get he died in the shower. Did we have to see his penis? Seriously? You could have just had him on his side so we don't see it. Why do you have to be all sprawled out like that? I get it. He fell in the shower. Sure. But there's ways to do it. Why did you have to... I don't know. I don't think we needed to see his dingle dongle. Okay? We didn't. But I don't know. We're supposed to believe she's responsible for that too, or what? I don't know. Because it seems like, because the more I've been thinking about this sitting here, that it seems like she specifically picked Piper because Piper can't see and therefore would not be able to stop anything that's going on. She could lie to her and get away with it. Whereas it would be harder if someone with sight. I don't know. I just don't like the ending. And I don't think it was as good as Talk to Me. It's good, don't get me wrong. I will give it a high middle of the road. A better ending would have gave this a pretty good, but it's a high middle of the road for me. So, what are your thoughts on Bring Her Back? In the comments, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.